Okay, so you're shopping for a home with a $600,000 budget and you're not sure if you want that to be in DC or Virginia. Maybe you're considering which one of these jurisdictions is going to give you the most bang for your buck when it comes to a home, or maybe you're more concerned about the lifestyle, the neighborhood, access to transit, and commute times. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through two homes, one in DC, one in Virginia, both in the $600,000 range, so you can see what these two areas offers you within that budget. And then we'll go over a few things like commute times, neighborhood lifestyle, walkability, and access to transit, and much more. So let's jump in. So if you stumbled across this video, I'm assuming that's most likely because you're interested in Washington DC area real estate, whether that's buying or selling a home. My name is Bashir, and I have the privilege of assisting families and individuals buy and sell homes all across the DC metro area. So if you have plans on doing that pretty soon, and you want to work with someone who has a deep, intimate knowledge of DC neighborhoods, areas, and cities, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact details are pinned in the comments and also in the description box. So we're starting off with the first home in Northeast Washington, DC. We're in the Brentwood neighborhood. We're just south of Rhode Island Avenue and north of New York Avenue. So we're in a really central location. Easy access to Capitol Hill, easy access to downtown, also super easy access to the US 50 highway and also 395. Takes you into the suburbs of Virginia and Maryland. We're starting off by touring this 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath row house. It was built in 1951, priced at $639,000. So let's go in and check it out. All right, let's check out this home. So typical brick DC row house. And this one has been fully renovated. Full gut renovation, top to bottom. It's about 1,600 square feet. And we've got, I love these huge windows, bringing a lot of natural light into the space. Okay, so we've got our living area right here. We've got electric fireplace. We've also got this acoustic panel right here. Now, a lot of people think this is just for decorative purposes, but it actually serves more of a purpose than just decoration. So this actually prevents, because if you're gonna have your TV mounted on this thing, this prevents the vibrations from the sound system from going over to the neighbor's house, right? So these row homes aren't like the homes that are built these days. So these walls are actually brick. So you have a brick wall separating you and the neighbor, right? And townhomes of these days, they're stick built. So that's a plus of these older homes. You don't get as much noise transmission through the walls. Okay, we've got our vinyl floors. Recessed lighting. We've got this beautiful waterfall island right here. And this is actually a pretty decent sized kitchen for a 1,600 square foot house. Right? Not bad at all. Now, we don't have an official dining area. I mean, maybe a small round table can go right here, but if you didn't want to, I guess, cram the space, you've got this sitting area where you could just eat over the island. So we've got our gas stove, and we also have a ton of cabinet space right here. So yeah, like I mentioned, pretty good sized kitchen for a 1,600 square foot house. We've got this lovely deep farmhouse sink, and we've got this window that looks out to the parking. As you can see, the reflection of the sun it brings a lot of natural light. So you have that big window right there. You've also got this window. You've got an additional window right here on the wall. So the home is really bright. And I like that they built this kind of mini mudroom right here. Over here, we've got our laundry. We've got a powder room to the left. Got a lot of cabinet space going on here. Got cabinets all around. Okay, let's check out the basement. Utility closet. Now this basement is its own separate compartment. We've got a door right there at the back that leads us outside. We've also got a door right here. So this space could actually be rented out. But if not, it serves as an excellent recreational space or additional space to host guests. So we've got another electric fireplace right here. Mount the TV right there. We've got a refrigerator. We've got a sink area with some countertop space. We've got these floating shelves for storage. You wouldn't want to, overload these because I'm not sure how firm they're going to be. So it's more of an aesthetic thing. Okay. So we've got a full bathroom. A window for some natural light. And we also have a bedroom down here, right? And this door just takes us out back. All right, so let's check out the third level. Got 3 bedrooms on this level. Closet. Not the largest of closet space, but at this point, you pretty much know that's what's expected with these starter homes in DC. So at this price point, $639. This is basically starter home price point in DC right now in 2025, right? For most neighborhoods, I would say 90% of DC neighborhoods, starter homes start off in the $600,000 to $700,000 range, right? Bathroom. It seems like these gold finishes are becoming the new in thing right now in a lot of these remodeled homes. Okay, I like the choice of tile they went with here. And this is the main bedroom. Okay, which is not too bad when it comes to size because this is a king size bed. We've got nightstands on the sides. So that tells you, gives you an idea of how the space could be utilized. And then of course we've got these large windows right here. Okay, let's see. So we've got a bit more closet space for this room. This would have to, I don't even think this is not even long enough. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Well, not really, but. Okay. Also got a hallway closet right here. Linen closet. We've got parking in the back. This parking pad could probably fit maybe two to three cars, depending on how large they are. Okay, so let's see what Virginia has to offer compared to DC. So we are in Fairfax County, specifically in Alexandria in the Franconia neighborhood. So we're just south of Old Town Alexandria, and we're about 13 miles from downtown DC, which is about a 25-minute drive. And as you can see, the neighborhood is a lot less dense. It gives you more of that suburban feel, and a lot of the homes here are actually newer. So we're gonna be checking out this townhome right behind me, which was built in 1994. It's a lot younger than the home we saw in DC, which was built in 1951. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,300 square foot home, priced at $629,000. So it's actually $10,000 less than the DC home. And it also has a garage. So let's go inside and see what it has to offer. We've got the garage right there and a parking pad. 1-car garage, by the way. Okay, so right as we walk in, there's a powder room to the left. Over here, we've got a sizable coat closet. And they've got these beautiful hardwood floors. And as we can see, this property doesn't have the bells and whistles that the DC home had. However, it's still in great shape, right? So one of the major differences is the square footage, of course. So in this house, this would be our designated dining room, and we also have our living room right here in this space. So if you remember, the DC home didn't really have much of a dining room, and this could also be a dining room, as a matter of fact, the dining room. So you could just make this whole thing your living room. Okay, so we got our kitchen here, which is, you know, a bit dated. Got the older cabinets from the 1990s. All right, we got a dated sink and countertops, but these are quite easy fixes, right? You can swap this out for some sort of quartz. But hey, I mean, it's still in good shape nonetheless, you know. It's not falling apart, so it's not something that needed immediate attention. I also like this opening over here. You know, these days with the newer homes, all this will be taken down, right? This kind of reminds me of how the homes were set up when I was, you know, growing up, you know. All right, so let's see. We've got a deck out here. Okay, so I can't get this door open, but, oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Some outdoor space right there. Let's check out the main level. So this is where all the bedrooms are. You got the first room. Okay, we've got closet space right there, which is, of course, you get more closet space compared to the DC house. A linen closet right there. And we've also got bigger bedrooms, right? Got some storage space on top of the closet. Again, we've got larger closet space. So it's safe to say when you come out to the suburbs, most times, when I say suburbs, I'm referring to either Maryland, Virginia, comparing it to DC, you tend to get more space for your money at the same price points. Now, you do have certain parts of Virginia and even Maryland where that might not be the case. I'll give you an example. If we went dollar for dollar, it's a pretty big closet. If we went dollar for dollar, let's say, you know, 600 to 600 in DC compared to Arlington, pretty much going to be the same. as far as what you get for space for your money, right? Because Arlington is a super expensive city. Same as, you know, if we were comparing a city like, I don't know, what else? Let me think. Yeah, I mean, I think Arlington is like the priciest city in Northern Virginia, where you're not really going to get a whole lot more for your money if you compared it to DC, assuming the price was equal. Okay, we've got this tub right here, nice large window. So this is your typical 1990s home with older finishes. But hey, kudos to whoever's owned it for this long. They've kept it up pretty well. We got our hallway bathroom right here. Now let's check the basement out. Okay, so we've also got some outdoor space right here. So the DC home did have a larger basement, right? So majority of this increase in square footage in this home compared to the DC home is on the main level. It's our garage right here. And this is some sort of utility room. We've got a refrigerator down here, laundry, and what is that, a safe? Huh, that looks kind of creepy. I mean, doesn't that look kind of creepy with the safe open and the light just seems like some sort of trap? I don't even know if I should be opening that right now. I wonder if the safe conveys with the house. Let's take a look. Hopefully I'm not in for a surprise. Okay. I just look kind of creepy with the door just propped open like that, and then the light just... Okay, there we go. Looks less creepy in here. Okay, they've got newer appliances. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've seen what $600,000 offers in both a home and neighborhood in DC, and we've also seen the same for Virginia in the neighborhood of Franconia. So let's start off by talking about the neighborhood vibe in both Brentwood and Franconia in Virginia. So let's start off with Brentwood in DC. Brentwood gives you more of that urban residential feel. It's quieter than being in the heart of DC, but at the same time, it's not a typical American suburb, right? It gives you more of an urban residential feel. So this neighborhood attracts people who still want to be within city limits, but not in the mix of everything like other more central, densely populated DC neighborhoods. You're going to see a lot of older homes here. You're going to see a lot of residents who've lived in the neighborhood for decades on end. And you're also seeing a lot of first-time home buyers who might be younger in age, working with a $600,000 budget, because homes in this neighborhood in Brentwood, they start off at around $600,000 to $640,000, depending on the size and also the scope of renovation that was done on the homes. You can probably get into the neighborhood in the $550,000, $585,000 range, but those homes aren't going to be of this caliber that has been fully renovated. I remember just a few years ago, maybe 5 to 6 years ago, homes in this neighborhood that were fully renovated like this one were selling for about $525,000. So it's just amazing to see how the prices have gone up in such a, I wouldn't say, in such a short amount of time. But the good thing is, with most neighborhoods, not just in DC, but in the DMV in general, prices have kind of flatlined, right? So we're not seeing the rapid rates of appreciation that we were seeing 2 to 4 years ago. So, it's more of a stable market right now, and that kind of levels the playing field between buyers and sellers. I would say that's the overall vibe of the neighborhood of Brentwood. So how can I put this in the most diplomatic way possible? I'll put it this way. Living in DC is not for the faint of heart, right? So if you're someone who loves your surroundings to be quiet 24/7, and when I say quiet, I mean no noise from cars or traffic or people, and you want that suburban feel, that white picket fence feel with a huge yard, I'll be brutally honest. DC probably isn't a good fit. Now, of course, unless you're working with a budget of, I would say around $1.2 million plus, but anything under $900,000, you're signing up for this sort of urban city life. Now, the key word is in most cases, not all cases, because you do have, quite a bit of DC neighborhoods that are more suburban-like and on the quieter end. But I'm sure it comes as no surprise to you that that's going to come at a cost. If your budget was anywhere under $1 million, $900,000, that's suburban life with the white picket fence, extremely quiet neighborhood, extremely difficult to find in DC. Now, this is not a bad thing. People do actually like the urban lifestyle and being in close proximity to neighbors and being able to walk to places. It just comes down to what you prefer. But, seeing that we're in the $600,000 range, that sort of suburban feel, it's extremely hard to find in DC at the $600,000 price range. Now, let's talk about the Franconia neighborhood in Alexandria. And just by driving down the street, you can see it's almost night and day compared to DC. This neighborhood would be perfect for people looking for a slower pace of life, less energetic neighborhood. It's quiet, it's well maintained, you've got the tree-lined streets, you've got the walking trails in the neighborhood, and it's a lot more residential. So a neighborhood like this would be more ideal for buyers looking for, a bit more breathing room. Next, let's talk about access to transit and the closest metros. So in Brentwood in DC, you're about a 7-minute drive or a 15-minute walk or a 5-minute bike ride to the Rhode Island Avenue Brentwood Metro Station on the Red Line with direct access to downtown DC and other parts of DC. And then for drivers, you're just off US 50, which takes you into Maryland. Also, we're right off New York Avenue, which takes you to downtown DC, and also 395, which is going to take you into other parts of DC and also into Virginia. Now, in the Franconia neighborhood in Alexandria, Virginia, the Franconia Springfield Metro, which is on the blue line, is about a 5 to 10 minute drive away from the house that we toured. It's not very accessible by walking. That's going to take about 30 minutes. The area also has access to I-95, I-395, and I-495. So it places the neighborhood in a really convenient location and makes it easy for getting around Northern Virginia and also a quick hop into DC. And as for commute times in Brentwood, DC, you're about 10 to 15 minutes from downtown DC by car or metro. You're also, like I mentioned, we're also just off US 50, which connects to the BWI Parkway and also a straight route into Baltimore and also the BWI Airport. In Franconia and Alexandria, you can expect a 30 to 40 minute commute to DC depending on traffic. Also, you're close to major highways, I-95, I-395, and the Capital Beltway, I-495. And also only about a 15 to 20 minute drive from Franconia to Reagan National Airport. So that's a huge plus if you travel often for work or just for leisure purposes. Let's talk about walkability, starting with Brentwood in DC. Brentwood is not the most walkable neighborhood. There are nearby grocery stores, cafes, and bus lines, but it's still more car reliant compared to more central DC neighborhoods. And Franconia in Virginia is more car dependent overall. The community in and of itself is more walkable. You've got access to endless walking trails, but you're probably gonna have to drive for running errands like groceries and to do other things like dining and other sort of leisure stuff. You've also got the Kingstown Shopping Center nearby, but there's not much in walking distance from the home itself. So next, let's talk about parks and green spaces. Now, in the Brentwood neighborhood in DC, we're just a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes from the US National Arboretum. This is one of DC's largest and most scenic green spaces. It's perfect for long walks, jogging, picnics in a peaceful setting, which is very rare for a city location. In Franconia and Alexandria, you've got the nearby Huntley Meadows Park. It's a large nature preserve with scenic boardwalks and trails. The area also has smaller local parks and recreational spaces, which is great for outdoor lovers who want, some sort of peace and quiet. And then you've also got Franconia Park nearby. Now let's talk about home values. So home values, like I mentioned earlier, in Brentwood DC, renovated row homes like these ones, 3 bedrooms plus, 2 bathrooms plus with a basement. These start off in the low to mid $600,000 range. And the less updated homes that are, somewhat still in move-in ready condition are going to start off in the mid $500,000 range. So this in and of itself makes it one of DC's more affordable starter home neighborhoods. In the Franconia neighborhood in Alexandria, homes in the community, they generally range from the low 600s to the mid 700,000s for homes with more upgrades. Next up, property taxes. So DC has the lowest property tax rate in the entire DMV region, right? So DC's tax rate is 0.85% before any sort of deductions. So a home at this price point at $639,000 in Brentwood, you're looking at about a $5,100 per year tax bill. Alexandria, Virginia has a higher tax rate at 1.135%. So for the home in Franconia, you're looking at about a $6,800 per year tax bill. So you could have 2 homes, one in DC, one in Virginia at the same price point, but you're most likely going to be paying a higher mortgage on the Virginia home because of those higher property taxes. But just to be clear, it's not going to be significantly more. It's probably going to be, roughly about $50 to $100 more in taxes on a monthly basis. And then Virginia also has a car tax. Yeah, car tax. So you pay taxes to own a car, and they're the only state that imposes that car tax in the DMV region. So you're looking about a $5.33 per $100 of a car's assessed value in annual taxes. So if you had a car that was worth $30,000, you're probably going to be paying around $1,600 per year in car taxes. So I guess I would never be moving to Virginia. So the fact that Virginia has higher property taxes and also has an additional vehicle tax, Virginia is probably a bit more costly than DC in terms of the tax burden. But again, if there are certain things about Virginia that you might prefer over DC, then maybe that extra cost might be worth it to you or not. Of course, that would be a decision you would have to make. Now let's talk about bang for your buck when it comes to homes, the space and the layout, how much more you get for your money in DC compared to Virginia. Now at this price point, $600,000 in these 2 neighborhoods, let's start off with Brentwood in DC. So homes tend to be smaller and narrower, right? Often these traditional row homes in DC. Now while the homes might have a little bit more updates, you get less interior square footage and outdoor space compared to the suburbs in Virginia, as we've seen with these 2 homes. And so the first home in DC, it had more upgrades than the home in Virginia, but it was about 700 square feet smaller. So in Virginia, you're usually going to get more square footage, more closet space, larger bedrooms. You're going to get more yard space. Now, both of these homes had parking, but as you can see in Virginia, they had an attached garage to the townhouse. I can conclude that Virginia might be a better fit if space and more privacy are your priorities. So my final thoughts on all this is, if you want that city feel, easy access to downtown DC, you don't want to have to be worried about a long commute to DC on a daily basis, and you don't mind living in some sort of an urban residential environment, then the Brentwood neighborhood in DC might be perfect for you. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking for more space, you want that quieter residential suburban feel, access to parks and highways, and you don't necessarily mind the higher tax cost that comes with living in Virginia, then the Franconia neighborhood in Alexandria might be the better long-term fit. So if you're thinking about purchasing or selling a home pretty soon in DC, Virginia, Maryland, at any price point, you could always feel free to reach out to me and we could have that conversation and see which one of these jurisdictions will be the best fit for your lifestyle and your goals. My contact details are down below in the description box and also pinned in the comments. And until next time, have a happy 4th of July, and I'll catch you in the next neighborhood.